Hi guys, got a nice little video here about levels of detail, and I've got my terrain. I've got 4 levels of detail for this spaceship, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now they're all different. I've just got it, 0 is the lowest polygon, 3 is the highest. I know other game engines, they have it the other way around, but this makes more sense to me. It doesn't really make any difference, it's just a number. Now, so basically 0 is about 1,500 polygons. Number 3 is about 15,000 polygons, is the full amount, or close to the full amount. So just using one texture, same texture for all of them. So basically I've just got a code here running. First sets up a few variables. This can be a menu item that can change and save whatever you want. LOD distance sets up an array. That's just got one spaceship, so it only needs 2 things: the name of it and the current starting LOD. And then after that, every whatever time limit you want, 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 500 milliseconds, something like that. It just checks to see the distance between the player and the object. So it'll cycle through in that array. If it's within a certain group, certain distance, and if it hasn't been updated to match what it's expected the LOD distance set up to be, it'll then change it out. So for example, this one, number 3, the highest setting, make that visible. The other ones just turns off all invisible. Update the array and just let you know a little message. Yeah, it works pretty good. 4 levels just works a little bit better than 3. You could get away with 3. It just gives me a bit more flexibility. I can have a much lower one at a further distance away while still having good amount of detail as you get close to it. I think 4 is probably a good balance. I'll just show you that now. So I've got Windows, XE, full screen, anti-alias. You definitely want to have that because it makes a huge difference. Don't need vertical synchronization for OpenGL. DirectX you do. It has a bit more issues. It's not as good in Windows, DirectX. I much prefer OpenGL. It's more performant and looks better and is smoother. It's just better every way basically for Windows. And so when I run that, I'll start from a far away distance and come forward. You can tell me if you think you can see it changing, swapping between 4 settings. Alright, so it's got a distance 2,800, call that meters or whatever you want to call it. It's units, but alright, so let's go forward. Okay, yep, very slight change there at pretty far away, and you can see the little message when it comes up when it changes. All right, look, LOD number 2 just loaded. Couldn't really notice that. LOD number 3 could even less. Hardly notice any change there at all as well. So there it is there. So this is an example of one thing I'll do. I'll have a ton of spaceships, but I'm also going to have a ton of other static assets, like rocks and mountains and caves and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to need to do this with because I want to populate the map with a ton of stuff. And for the graphics card to be able to handle all that, I've got to use this LOD thing very well. So I'll go away from it now. So that's just an example of a spaceship, just one of many I'm going to be using. Yeah, so I've got to probably there's a gun missing up on top, I'll put that in. Anyway, so I tried using Blender. Blender does not work very well at all in this regard. See the forum, I've posted how I did it. So just watching that, you can watch the engine as well. It's the rounded objects, it's had the most effect, the most pronounced effect. Alright, LOD number 2, couldn't even notice it, I couldn't see it. Barely notice it at all. LO1 just loaded hard. I could even hardly notice any change myself there either. And get really far away, and then it will drop at the lowest. There it is there, LOD 0. I couldn't really see it either. Barely see anything, any change. So it works really well. Pretty happy with it. Hoping to be able to turbocharge CopperCube a bit. See what it can come up with. It's a nice little outdoor scene here. It's a massive scene. This is a huge map. This is 512 by 512. It equals about 480,000 polygons as the minimum starting point before you add anything, because it's just got so many. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. So in this play here, you know, I'm not going to have him running around at this sort of speed. He'll be walking a lot slower than this, so it'll take him quite a while from get to one end to the other. Yeah, so yeah, it works pretty good. In case you don't believe me, I've got. I'll just separate them out so you can see it. LOD 0, 1, 2, 3, and I run it again. You'll be able to see them switch between the four. See? As it you get closer, it swaps them in and swaps them out. Works pretty good. So it gets about there, and then swaps the. Okay, that's 2. And then the highest one, just there. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got it as a percentage of distance. It's not a fixed distance always. It's based on the user menu. So if that's currently set to the highest setting. So that, in other words, you'll see the highest resolution the farthest away. But if you've got like issues with the graphics, you can tone that right down, so you only see the highest graphics when you're really close, and that'll be even better for everything on the whole map. Yeah. Hope you like that. That's a cool little feature. Just see the forum for the code and a few extra things on how I did that. And hope to see some more cool stuff in some games soon. Cheers.